Hey crafty friends, welcome back to the Old Paper Lady. It's Lori. How are y'all doing today? I am a little wore out. It's Wednesday only. Oh me. I don't know. The week seems like it's just getting longer and longer as the days, progress. But it is Merry Makes today. I've got a bunch of these thin background Christmas papers. I thought we would take and make some stuff out of them. I've got me some of my time cards where we've used to punch in and out at work and stuff. And they have red on the back, so I thought that would be really pretty for a Christmas theme, and I'd be fine and dandy with that. So what I've been doing, and I did this for fall, a bunch of my thin scrapbook paper for fall. I took and backed them on these. Now these cards, let's see, I think these, are 8 1/4. So they could be a tall tag or whatever you would like to do, or you can cut them in half, make pockets out of them. So what I would do to cut them in half is I'd, cut them here and turn them like this way to make pockets. So whatever you want to do with them. But I'm going to make a few Christmas bases here with these today in our Trash to Treasure video. Did I say it was Merry Makes? No. So sorry. I was thinking of the Christmas paper. It's Trash to Treasure Merry Makes version. That's what we're doing. See what I'm saying with it's a week of Mondays. Oh goodness, knucklehead. That happens from time to time. You get lost of what day of the week it is. You know what I'm saying. But anyways, this is Trash to Treasure Merry Makes version. Oh goodness. Merry Makes takes over Trash to Treasure, y'all. That's what's happening. That's what's happening, Captain. But I was wanting to get a few of these covered. I've got a whole box of these thin Christmas background papers, and I said, let's just go on ahead and make us up some stuff with them today. So I think I'll be able to possibly get 3 to 4 out of these out of 12 of 12 sheet. And this past weekend, or the weekend before, the weekend before, I did this with fall papers, thin scrapbooking paper for fall. I just took and covered a bunch of these. But, seeing as how I can't keep up with what day of the week it is or what video I'm doing, I hope everybody else is doing all right and y'all hanging in there. The week's gone pretty quick. It's just been, a little hectic. We got our Coca-Cola order delivery is changing this week, so everybody's panicking about, making sure what day it goes in and this and that, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, their website said this, so that's what I'm doing, so I don't know what y'all are talking about, So they're like, well, as long as you're on top of it, well, I am, so, chill out. I got what I'm supposed to do done, so y'all worry about you, let me worry about me, and we'll be fine. And then tonight, before I left, which is about 9:15, heard the biggest, loudest boom crash. I was like, what in the H was that? It scared me. I literally thought there was somebody had ran into the gas tank. I thought for sure I was a goner. Well, they didn't run into the gas tank. They ran into my big old icebox machine outside my store, pushed it up against the brick building, dented in the front of it and the back of it, because, once their vehicle hit the front of it, that put the dent in the front of it, and then moved it a foot and hit it into the brick building of the store, and then in the back of the ice machine. and then proceeded to back up, pull into the parking space, get out of their vehicle, come in the store, and get mad at me because I would not sell them any alcohol. So for the last hour I was at work, I was on the police. I called 911, and I was like, hey, they were like, you know, where's your location? I gave them the address, and I was like, let me give you this plate number before he takes off. So I gave him the plate number, and then I was like, this person pulled into my parking lot, didn't even slow down, drove into my ice machine and into the side of my building. So luckily the ice machine was there to stop him, because had it not been, he would have came through the brick side of the building. Because, you know, yeah, this ice machine, it's like one of those humongous ice bag machines you see outside of you know, convenience stores or grocery store or whatever. And it's, you know, it's full of ice. He hit that thing and knocked it a foot into the building. It didn't even slow down. So then, you know, I'm in there, I'm on the phone with them. My boss is freaking out, calling, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, look, boss, I can't talk to you. I'm trying to talk to the police, so you're just going to have to wait your turn. And I hung up. So, once the police actually got to me, and, because I got pictures, because he got back in his vehicle and took off, because, you know, he was mad and called me a few names because I wouldn't sell him any alcohol, which apparently, you know, he didn't need none because he had already, you know, reached his limit before he ever got into the car to get to my store. You know, because he didn't hit the brakes, slow down or nothing. He just full on pulled in the parking lot and just bam, and it just popped. Oh my goodness, it scared me at first, and then once I you know, figured out what was going on, I was like, oh my goodness, are you kidding right now? So I took pictures of him in his vehicle driving, took pictures of the ice machine, you know, the block and everything, and where it was setting and where it got moved to, and all of that damage. Took a picture of him when he jumped back in his vehicle and proceeded to try to speed out of the parking lot, but his front end was dragging on his tires. So I don't know if he made it home or not. And then apparently, come to find out, the police were telling me that he only lived like 200 yards up from the store. So they got all the information, got all the video, and they were going to go pay him a visit. And I was like, well, I'll wait for you if you want to come back with the paperwork and this and that. And they're like, oh, no, we're going to go get him. We'll take care of him. I'll come back tomorrow and bring you all the paperwork you need for your insurance purpose and his insurance and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, good, because, you know, by this time it's 10 o'clock. You know, and I'm trying to close and get my money and stuff situated. And I told him, I was like, well, we had city cops, county cops, and state troopers all showed up tonight. So I was like, well, at least, you know, they all came out. Because sometimes we have called and then they had not showed up. So these are going to be our Christmas bases. So yeah, that is going to be fun. So we can make tags out of them. We can cut them in half, make pockets, whatever we need to. So I thought these, you know, kind of generic looking backgrounds, we can put our fussy cuts on and have them ready to go. Now here's another sheet. You know, last year I think I did 15 Christmas journals. So I want to, I don't know if I'll do that many this year or not, but, you know, I want to have plenty of stuff to decorate with. Most of the ones like this that aren't decorative papers, that are just kind of background, will wind up being turned into pockets. And we'll, you know, put some kind of fussy cut, decoration sticker, whatever on it. And then the ones that are, you know, like this is a decorative page, those will be tags and such. But yeah, that that was happening at my workplace tonight. And, you know, we have, like, the stand-up computerized gambling machine along the front wall, which, you know, the fella was just sitting down at the machine right there in front of where the ice machine is on the other side of the wall. And, I mean, it made the loudest pop. I was like, what in the world? And I was like, did somebody just hit the building? I thought somebody had hit, you know, one of our cars or something out front. So I'm looking at the cameras, trying to check the cameras. And he knew what he did, because he was backing up to leave when I come running out of the building. Because I just grabbed the phone and started calling 911. Because I was like, you know, yeah, that's property damage, buddy. I didn't know if they were hurt or not, but that's for sure property damage. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, as I'm calling, and I'm, you know, I run, because he's backed up and stopped and trying to turn his wheels to get, you know, where he can leave. And I'm like, so I don't know what possessed him to pull on up there in a parking place, get out and waddle himself in there and try to buy 2 more alcoholic beverages after you just ran into the ice machine and the building, you know. So yeah, I was like, no, I don't think so. But now I hadn't seen him all evening this evening, and he usually comes in quite a bit. But I hadn't seen him at all this evening. That was the first time I'd saw him, a little after 9. And then I wasn't even, you know, really, you know, with all the happenings, didn't really hit me that 2.5 minutes earlier, I was standing right in the front of that ice machine where he hit it, locking that ice machine door up. So when I was rolling back, because I had to show both of the city cops, both of the county cops, and then both of the state troopers. Had to have the video showed, you know, because all of them came out, so they all have to do their report, blah, 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 whatever. So instead of, you know, the one getting it and sharing it with all of them, they all each individually, you know, and I don't understand that. I'm like, you know, well, they done got copies of the video, and I was like, yeah, but I have to have it for my report. And I'm like, okay. So, but anyways, all of them, you know, and then the last guy come, he goes, and it backed up, you know, a minute or 2 before it happened. And he's like, look, you were just out there. He said, what was that, a minute or 2? And we stopped it and played it. He's like, yeah, 2.5 minutes earlier, you were standing out there in the same spot, locking that ice machine up. He said, that's crazy. And I was like, yeah, sure is. I was like, you know, but what, you never know. I mean, we've got poles put up in front of the doors because we had somebody try to run their vehicle through the door to break in. I mean, just, these people ain't got no sense, you know. And this stuff happens at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I don't understand them. But that was there was a string of break-ins around our area in that, and when that happened, you know. But as far as like being there working, I mean, I don't feel unsafe. You know what I mean? I'm cautious, very, very cautious. You know, I pay attention to my surroundings quite a bit. You know, my head's on a swivel. I'm always checking cameras and everything. You know, if I step outside to smoke a cigarette or what have you, I'm standing right at the door. So if anything happens, I can shut it and lock it real quick. But these, this was just, I was like, could not believe, you know, that after, you know, he just pulled straight on in, didn't, I mean, and on the video, the cops were like, well, he didn't even brake, slow down, or nothing. I was like, no, just pulled just straight into the building. So, but luckily, you know, everyone, we were all safe. No customer or myself was hurt or injured or anything in any way. And then, Now, I don't know if the fellow was hurt or not. I know he's an older gentleman, but I do know, you know, he does drink a bit. But like I told them, I was like, I hadn't seen him all evening, so I don't, you know, if he's been drinking, he didn't get it from here. And I was like, and you can skim all the way through all the videos. You won't see him inside until he come and ran into the building. So, you know, it wasn't like we were at fault for selling someone something that shouldn't have been sold. Now, we do, you know, I don't care if you're walking up or not. If you're walking staggering and what have you to the store, I'm not going to say you nothing else because that's alcohol poisoning. No, I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean? $1 ain't that important, you know, because you don't know when to say when. You got to have someone that's got a more value about themselves in an establishment like that to say, yeah, you don't need any more. You know what I mean? You just do. But anyways, that's enough about work craziness. But yeah, that was the exciting happenings at my workplace today. Let's see. Those are kind of shiny. I don't know if this is Christmas or not. It's Woodland Fern. I've had this stuff forever. I mean, like, literally forever. And then, like, I have this. It says a, whatchamacallit? Vellum. And I have this behind it. So, we might try to figure out something to do with that. I'm not going to mess with that. I'm just working on the thin scrapbooks papers that are Christmas themed that we can turn into something else. Oh, me. Oh, that's not a thin one, but that's real pretty. That's not thin, so we'll pull that one out. These here aren't thin either. Oh, that's gorgeous. I really want to do a blue journal, but I just don't want to do it right now. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Yeah, these are thicker papers here. Alright, so we'll put those over there. Those will be printed on and cut up. This is not that thick. It needs to be backed. Now we're into bits and pieces that need to be backed for sure. Okie doke. I'll separate these, put them up here, and that's going to be, they need to be printed on and backed. And I'll do that sometime this weekend. So I'll make myself a stack of stuff that I need to print on. A sack of stuff that, you know, needs to be fussy cut or what have you. And then we got some of these bits and pieces here that I want to make some things out of. Ugh, come here. Ooh, that's going to be covered. These need to be covered front and back. No problem. Let me do that real quick. These will be nice, hefty size journal cards. We just used this up making the, putting the stickers on it in that journal that we just did for the sunflowers. That's what this is. Flip Santa Claus's face over here. Oh, come here, buddy. And then some I took in my fall things and made, took some of my, and now when I get done using up these time cards and stuff, working through them, I've got a stack of white time cards that I bought from Dollar Tree. I started to say Dollar General, but it was Dollar Tree. That's white. Now we can use those and make stuff with them as well. But I've just been been trying to use them up because I had, you know, a big old stack of them. And then now I've used up a half of them. I'm like, ooh, I need to calm down on using them. And then we went through the Christmas background papers. And everything that was thick, I've got a box that I need to go through and print the backs of those. And then everything that was thin, we just took and put it in this one box here. And I said, well, I am going to take and work my way through them some on some Trash to Treasure editions. And that's what we're working on today. Let's see, I got a thinner one here. Will fit right there. Now all of these will need to be backed. That's fine. I got backer paper over here. And I actually have scrap backer paper for these too. I'll just pull that down and we'll use them. Because, you know, it is Trash to Treasure. So let's just use the scrap pieces. But yeah. This is a good project. Like if you listen to podcasts or anything like that. You know, like I say, I talk about, I listen to the murder mystery, unsolved mystery type things, that kind of stuff. So, you know, you don't have to pay attention and watch the TV. They talk and you can, you know, you get the, you understand what's going on because they talk through the whole show. You don't have to watch it, you know. Where like some movies and things like that, you have to watch and pay attention because they show something that later on you're like, wait a minute, when did that happen? You know, missed it when I went to the bathroom, get a drink or something. So, but yeah, this is a good project to just pull you out some thin scrapbooking paper. It don't matter. Don't have to be Christmas. Yeah, I got, let's see, 10 boxes, I think, of just called journal. That's what they're labeled. It's journal. And it's, you know, for my journal making adventures. So, you know, I bought them specifically to make journals with. Where that be backing things on them like this, because some of them are thinner. So I was like, well, I'm just going to use that and just be fine. Let me get... my scrap backers here, and we'll put them on there. And yes, in doing this, I am making more scraps. So then I can set and, you know, make me a masterboard or two out of the scraps of this to go, you know. It's a never-ending cycle here. But I am determined to start getting some of this pile of scrapbooking paper worked through. I really got to do that. Because most of my storage that is in and around my desk, well, pretty much all of it underneath and in this cabinet behind me, is nothing but scrapbooking paper. You know, and I said I had, what, 75 of those 12 by 12 storage boxes, paper boxes, like they sell at Michael's and Hobby Lobby. I got 75 of them things plumb full of scrapbook paper. And then I have 8.5 by 11 up here that's just basically like the cardstock background paper. And over there. I mean, I'm telling you, I got so much paper, it's not even funny. But now I went on Michaels.com when they had their sale on Black Friday and bought up a bunch of their cardstock background paper. Because, you know, I do make mini albums, and I was like, I want one of every color, and that's what I went and did, so I could do that. And then I got into making journals, and just been running with that for a year. I think the last mini album I made was one of the grandbabies' Halloween pictures last year for trick-or-treating. That was the last mini album I made. I didn't make her one for Easter this year. Feel bad. But I'm going to make her one for Halloween. She comes and picks out her Halloween decorating paper for it. I'm going to make her one. And that's just a good little tag there. That skinny strip, we're going to sling it. We're going to put this over here. I'm just going to make a pile of scraps. Don't even worry about it. I ain't going to try to... Now, what I do when I'm not on camera is any scraps that I have, I'll just go ahead and I'll just do the masterboard. This is the fall ones. I've made several, but any scrap that I had off of the cutoffs from the things, I just went ahead and just glued it. You know, as soon as this got cut up and trimmed up, I just glue that onto a sheet and just make the masterboard. But these here, we're just going to cut them apart. I'm going to back these and let that go. I'm just making bases right now, so in the future, which we'll probably decorate them in Monday's video for our Merry Makes. That is actually a Merry Make video, not a Merry Makes takes over Trash to Treasure. Now, I bet y'all were like confused as heck. It's like, wait a minute, this ain't Monday, it's Thursday. I was confused myself there for a minute. I was looking at Christmas paper, you know. And the automatic words come out of Merry Makes. So now this, where this, you know, runs, and it's, so that is going to be pockets. And that's how I deemed what would be and would not be pockets. Now, some of these other time cards were 9 inches. So, you know, I've cut it at 6 inches, and you have, you know, a 3-inch where you could, you know, make a little tuck spot or whatever. So, these are 8 1/4. I'm just going to put it over there. This needs to be backed. That one didn't. Okay. Well, look, that was fairly easy, wasn't it? It's just scrap. It's actually, it had florals on it, and all the florals were on one side. So I just saved that. I was like, that'd be a good backer piece to something. Because from time to time, I use my book pages, and I'll do the thin scrapbook paper on book pages and stuff like that. And you'll need a backer for those. Now, a lot of the paper I have for, like, I call it everyday, but anything that is not fall or Christmas is, to me, is everyday use. I'm gonna need for you to go on there, buddy. Be cut right. But so now we got us a nice big journal card. And I'm fine with a little bit of that showing through. I'm fine with that. Don't bother me a bit, because, you know, it's mainly covered up and you can write on it. That is the whole point. It's the whole point of journaling. is to use junk to make your journal with. Okay, so there's a nice size journal card, and it is backed. So what I'm going to do, is I'll take these and put them in my my Christmas pre-made ephemera. Let's try to make this a little easier on ourselves too. And I can just put that in the middle of it. It doesn't have to have the whole thing covered. Not that particular over it, you know what I mean? But I would kind of like to have the whole thing covered. Now I was trying to save the backs off of them glue sticks, but sometimes the whole thing just peeled up, and I was just like, what in the world is going on? But I mean, I'm talking like it was the whole thing underneath peeled up, and still had the glue sealed inside of the little plastic pack. I was like, I can't get the glue out of here. Oh no, you know what I'm doing? I'm using my paper scissors to cut glued paper. I'm going to have to clean them with alcohol when I get off of here. I just realized that. Sure am. It don't really matter. They all get used both the same anyways. Just one set is specific, just specially gifted at cutting glued papers, and one is I don't know, I find that like the glue, I don't know if it dulls the scissors down or what, but yeah, this one here, see, that is the glue scissors. Okay, so now there is us a little tag. That's going to be cute. And like I say, I'm not making these or doing a finish job on them right now at the moment. I'm just making my bases. And I'll go back and pull them out. What matches a journal or what have you. Like if I've got Santa Claus and some black and stuff in the journal, I'll pull this out and be like, yep, that'll go with it. And there's my journal card tag and 2 pockets. Sure enough. So that's how I do that type of stuff. Let's see, how big are you? Still not big enough. That's okay. I'm just going to run this down it. Actually, I'd rather have that. I'm just going to put that on it. And if I need to, I'll just trim across the bottom. And anything that I cut off will be saved to be used in a cluster. Yep. Anything like that that gets cut, I'll save them and use them in the clusters. And that turned into scrap because my computer printer pulled it in sideways and left a white strip on about 10 of them. So I just pulled it out and said it'll be a scrapbacker page. Phew, that stinks. What are you smelling so bad for there, buddy? I'll get you up to the top of that. So I hope this gives y'all some ideas, or, you know, like I said, when you start getting into the throes of what you could and can't do, and there is really nothing you can't do in junk journaling. You know, you just got to go about a way of figuring out how to do it, or how to get it to work. It may take you a try or two. But now I'm going to tell you, once you get into, I mean, you'll see a scrap, and you're like, oh, that's going to be a 2-inch tag. I can't throw that away. I can put something on this, or, you know, and I can write on the back, sorry, colored, blah, blah, blah. You won't never throw nothing away. Now, you know, sometimes, you know, there is a little bit fine line between hoarding and saving to use for later. But now, like I said, some of these papers here, this one I know for sure I've had that for a long time. I mean, a really long time. What is this? Provo Crafts. America's Craft Innovator by Michelle Anderson. Oh, where's it got a date on it? 2003. Yep, 2003 when this was made. So yeah, when I tell you I've been hoarding and collecting paper, I mean, I've been doing it. Guilty as charged. Okay, so yeah, that's a good sturdy journal card there. Fun. 40 minutes, and not bad. See, I keep running across blue paper, y'all. Look at that Santa Claus or snowman. I keep running across blue paper now. Some of these are cutesy and artsy. You know, like that's a cute little scrapbooking paper. I don't want to use that because, you know, a lot of my things are country themed type stuff. So I'm trying to go through this the best I can. Now, this I'm saving because I would like to try to use it, split it in half and use it as a cover on a journal. So I'm going to save that piece because that's the only one I got of those. I'm pretty sure of it. But now see, this paper pad is so thin, the whole, like I didn't intentionally pull the covers off of this, it fell off. So there's that. I was pulling pages out of it to work with, make stuff with, and it come apart. And I don't really know where this came from. I don't know. It's thin paper. I don't really look like Hobby Lobby. It looks like something that Michaels would do, don't it? Okay. And I'm going to turn some of this here into something. We'll We'll do 3 of these time cards on this, and that'll be fun. Look, I've made several items and I have only used 1 glue page. The paper glue page is not as bad as the magazine. It's like the paper kind of, I guess, soaks it up or something, I guess. So I don't have to switch the page out as much with the paper little magazine. And what I was doing was I was trying to find me something until I pull another book or 2 apart, because the couple that I have, I'd like to keep and use those as like whole book pages to add in the stuff. And then because I'm collecting up things to you know, if I don't have a whole kit worth of papers or what have you to make a journal, because like I said, a lot of these 12 by 12 scrapbooking, you know, are really, really pretty, but they are thin. And so I'm like, I want to just take and print on the back of it, you know, and cut it down and use it in a journal, and then just add, you know, a few coffee dye papers, a few tea stain papers, you know, some ledger of some sort, you know, and stuff like that. And then I really want to, I've got a couple of those big old books from the library that was like, it was telling them what books they had in their library or whatever, their guide thing. And they're hardback books, and they're about that thick, about 2 to 3, I think it's 2.5, about 3 inches wide. So I was like, I want to do, you know, a work in progress, excuse me, a work in progress journal, just for myself, you know, just to play in and, you know, do a page here and there and decorate or what have you. And it probably will not have any sort of theme of whatsoeverness, but it'll just, you know, like this page is this and this page is that, you know. So I don't know if that's called an art journal or what, but it's going to have papers and stuff in it, and then I'll decorate pockets, tags, and what have you to suit that page that it's going on. That's what I want to do. I just think it'd be pretty and fun. You know, kind of eclectic. Which is, you know, that's a little hard for me. That's why it was so hard to envision setting and making a pre-made ephemera, because, you know, like I said, I needed some space for 1 to store pre-made ephemera, and for 2, it was just hard for me to wrap my head around making stuff that I wasn't going to use in a journal, you know, because I was steady just making journals last year. This year I've kind of calmed that down a little bit. You know, there's quite a few kits and stuff that I see and I like and I want to make. And then, but I also want to just come in and be like, let's see what we can make today, y'all. Play with our pretty stuff, you know what I mean? And this is just helping me build up my Christmas stash on our Trash to Treasure Meek. And so I was like, I did that whole, I went through 4 or 5 boxes of fall paper. Now I have, let's see, 5, 6, 7, it was 12, 13, 14, 15. I have 15 boxes of just scrapbooking 12 by 12 paper or paper pads. So I went through and pulled all of those paper pads. Now that's not counting the 3 or 4 boxes of just like the kits, like the Echo Park paper pad kits and stuff like that, or the kits that you get from Hobby Lobby. Yeah, that's not counting those. I got 4 boxes of it's just paper kits. You know, where it comes in the cellophane, where it has the stickers and the pages and all of that. Yep, I got 4 of those filled with those paper kits. You know, used to Echo Park and scrapbooking.com have their kit sales. I'd go crazy, cause before the beginning of this year, when they had their kit sales like that, you know, it would say 10 for 50 or whatever it was. You know, the deal was, whatever the deal they said was 10 for either 50 or 60 bucks. Well, once you hit that 10, the more that you bought, you know, the more the price went down. Used to be. Now it does not. It used to do that. And I was like, shut up, they went to $3.50. You know, and $3.50 was the lowest I could get. It didn't matter how many I put in there. But yes, that's how I got all of those. And I was like, heck yeah. But I don't know if that was but it had done it like 2 or 3 times, and I said, well, shoot, if it's doing it and it says it's 10 for this, you know, and once you hit more than the 10 and you get to the 20, it kept going down. I mean, you know, it got down to $3.50 a pack, and I was like, I'm gonna go and order every one of them they got, and that's what I did. Got them all for $3.50 a pack of those Echo Park kits. Where's the paper pad front thing at? And then they'd have their sticker kits and stuff like this. So yeah, I ordered a bunch of that stuff. So like I said, I went through and pulled out my fall sticker pages. And I got a whole 12 by 12. So that's gonna be pockets. So I'll cut right here and make this a pocket, and this can be a tuck, and I can just put a fussy cut in the middle of that. Roll right on about my business. And these will be pretty. Oh, I like them. Yeah, those turned out good. It's just fun, a different, you know. That's why I like, you know, I'll lay it over its side, make sure which way it goes. And I know the one's always going to be long ways up top, so that's for sure, you know, 2 pockets in a tuck spot. Alrighty, so I'm going to get off here for tonight because it's probably around 2 o'clock-ish now. Because when I got out of work, I come in here and zoned out, running down the rabbit hole of Facebook Reels. I ate. And my daughter was telling me some stuff about her TikTok adventures and that. And then I was telling them about, you know, this knucklehead that had ran into the side of the building at work. So we're just, you know, catching up on the day. Just visiting, pretty much. But, yep, so I had a good time this evening. We got, you know, that's quite a bit of ephemera right there, you know. And everybody's like, well, you made all the same thing. Okay, but I can put a different fussy cut on that, a different one on that, a different one on that. And I can take, you know, these 3 and cut them in half, and that's pockets, you know, and then whatever. Because you're making multiple journals, you know what I'm saying? So it's not like all of them's going to go in the same journal. Now these aren't decorated, so they will not go in what I would call my pre-made finished products for Christmas. I will take and put them in a different place, in a different pouch. Those need to be decorated, cut corner rounded and stuff like that, and inked. We are just making the base work. But where that Santa Claus there is so stinking cute. He don't need nothing else on him but to be, you know, these need to be rounded and a topper put on him. And he's ready to go. All of them are. I like that. And then this here just needs to be cut in half and put a pull on it. You see what I mean? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, come on, help me count. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 pieces today. And we used 1, 2, 3, 4. We used 4 12 by 12 scrapbook papers. Yep. That was one. That was one. That was one, and that was one. Yeah, we used 4 12 by 12 scrapbook papers. Oh, and that is not even a nowhere near dent. And that, I mean, that's a lot of ephemera, 16 pieces an hour, but that is nowhere near a dent in the scrapbook paper I've got that needs to be backed. This is just one box. And then I've got a 3-inch box, you know, it has the little tote handles on it. I got one of those full that needs to have the backs printed on them. Because it's the, you know, the 110 pound or the 65 pound cardstock. Alright, I'm going to get off here and let y'all have a rest. And I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a good night.